What's up, DMCAers, and welcome to the DMCA 8 talking about teams.
Alright, we are
Like,
here with two of our lovely admins,
yep.
myself and Mackles, and we're just going to be talking about the teams for Derek's Monkey Ball 8.
DMC8. DMC8 teams.
Yup. Alright, first of all, we've got the Pomegranate Pigeons, which consists
Boo.
of. Okay, well, let's not be a hater. We've got Comic Soon, Gaza, and Something Like Amy. I think this is going to be an interesting one because Comic somewhat notoriously has the highest game average due to playing two games in his
And on
DMCA
like the most
career.
broken team of all time.
Yeah. So I mean, Comic Soon is like still a good player, but it'll be interesting to see where he does end up.
I'm a little worried about red team because Gaza 101 is your second frag. I mean, it's not looking too good off the bat. But
he is
maybe
a
Comics can pull through.
he is a bit of a volatile one, the old
Yeah.
Gaza. Alright, next up we got the Lemon Lynxes, Ice Boy, Inferno Fox, and Tails Boy. This is an interesting one.
I think this is a slept on team. I
Yeah,
think this team has a lot of potential.
I think it is pretty good as well. Ice Boy has not been playing Minecraft too much as of recent months, but he has gone back and is playing some things now. And I've like partied with him and Iron and stuff. He's back.
Something I find interesting about this team is that none of them are really like bad players. Like I think Tailsboy would be the bottom frag here, but I don't think Tailsboy is like a usual bottom frag in most events. But I don't know. I feel like this team could be very consistent at what they do, which could propel them to the top of this leaderboard.
That is true. I'm not completely sure about Inferno Fox's how Inferno Fox does in other events. I think they're like top of bottom half, that sort of player, but I could be wrong.
Mhm. I will keep my eyes out for this team.
Yeah, it is not one you want to sleep on because again, if you don't have a weak, not having a weak player is so good for for PvP games. All right. Next up, we have Watermelon Wales. We have newcomer Brinks, along with Hubon the Bugon and Sunbird Gal.
Get it right, it's Gatwick Airport.
Gatwick Airport 32. Now, the elephant in the room is obviously Hubon's Cube Championship performance last weekend, which
What
was
did he
put
get?
in
Like he got like bottom
36th.
10 on a top 2 team.
Yeah, 36th on a second place team. Now
Bottom 5.
that is not normal Hubon. Hubon is normally like a middle of the road player, but we're just gonna have to see what happens this event.
I think Gatwick Airport was dilly-dallying, and I don't think his cube performance is very reflective of how he'll perform in DMCA. I still think Hube on the Bugon is a solid player and one to keep an eye out, especially teamed up with Brinks.
That is Brinks, probably unless you count Comic Soon as a newcomer, probably one of the most well, definitely the most skilled newcomer we have here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Maybe even vying for a first individual.
Now, I'm gonna make a prediction right here, right?
Hmm.
You look at this team, and like obviously Sunbird Gal, will she ever not get last?
Yeah.
Obviously, Sunbird Gal is supposed to be the anchor here. However, I'm predicting right now, Sunbird Gal will not get last, and not only that, Sunbird Gal will not get last in Kit Spleef.
That is a bold prediction. That is something we do need to bring up. Sunbird Gal. I know Bird is a solid player, but for some reason in DMCA she cannot figure it out. Just bottom last indiv after last indiv. I mean, she's better than that. I know it, but you can't
I
really
think
argue with stats.
I think she's gonna lock in this event. She's gotten like super unlucky in like every event she's played. I think this is her event where like the stars align, and I think she'll come out on top.
Yeah, if there is a team to watch, Watermelon Wales, a very volatile team. I feel like can place either first or last. All right, and finally we have the Blueberry Beavers, a bit of an SPLian team: Mr. Mystery, Shadow Assassin, and an Orange. What were you thinking?
I think this is also a team that will be slept on, mostly because of their like ace up their sleeve and orange. This
The
guy is
legend.
like he's a legend. Lionel Messi, Mr. Mystery and Shadow S, Shadow S is pretty like inconsistent in DMCA, but he can do well. And Mr. Mystery is a very solid player. I would argue in this roster, Mr. Mystery is top three. Easy. And I think Anorange as your bottom frag. I mean, what did Anorange get once? Like sixth or fourth?
An Orange, he got fourth individual on it, not even
Yeah.
on a winning team.
So like if An Orange like dials in, Blueberry Beavers is a very, very scary team.
Yeah, I
IMO.
think the entire team hinges on an Orange because an Orange has placed last, subbed out midway through an event, and gotten fourth individual.
An Orange is not your typical bottom frag. You can't just write him off.
Yeah, you've always got that thought in your mind. What if he gets top half?
Especially if they get Bridges last, Blue just wins.
Yeah, that is some new time DMCAs might not know this, but an Orange is known. They call him Lionel Messi for a reason. Cannot stop scoring goals. All right, and that wraps up the teams, and I'm going to now head on over to the stats we have over here. Okay, so here we have the stats. As you can see, we've got game averages and then each of the individual games and the teams, the sum of their averages for them. I would like to note for Lemon Lynxes, we have used Trickinator to approximate Inferno Fox's stats. We have used Personified to approximate Brinks' stats. And if anyone hasn't played a game, for example, Gaza 101 hasn't been in since DMCA 1, so he hasn't played the new blockout. We have just used his game average for that. So in color order, from weakest strongest by game averages, but we do need to bring up that Comic Soon has a very, very inflated game average due to only playing 2 games. Bridges, we see Pigeons again at the top. Again, because of we use Comics average, and we have Gaza putting up decent numbers, and Amy not putting up an amazing performance, but still much better than a lot of the other bottom frags and Bridges. I
I
think,
would like to point out that the Blueberry Beavers have a very good Bridges average. And if you look at the stats, An Orange Lionel Messi at the top.
yep, an Orange, that's what he's known for. He's known for always getting Bridges goals. Actually holds the Bridges goal record in one event with 10. But as you can see, Shadow not far behind. Mr. having some rough Bridges due to weak teams, but that he can definitely do much better than that. This is definitely a scary Bridges team, especially with an Orange on your front line.
Yeah.
Wales doing significantly below the average. Lynx is around average. Lynx is again could be swayed by Personified having a lower average. We don't know how Brinks will do on debut. Hubon does have a pretty good average here. He did used to play Hypixel Bridges, fun fact. So he's got that experience. And Sunbird Gal, lower end, but not even abysmal. There is still a good amount of players below her. I think especially for Bridges, this is a very strong roster.
for sure.
Next up, we have Blockout. And if you look at the averages here, you can see one standout team.
Blue destroys.
Now, I do need to preface that Blockout is a relatively new game for DMCA. I think it's been played 3 times now. And that means that a lot of people either haven't played it or have only played it like once or twice. So all of these averages are, take them with a grain of salt. As you can see, Blue monstrous average in this game. Wales solidly below, same with Lynxes, and Pigeons a little bit above average. So let's have a look at the leaderboard. Mr. Yeah, just solid performances from all of Blue. An Orange, known for his block placing. Known for bridges, known for block placing. Mr. Mystery also having a very, very good average. One of the 5 with over 200. Gaza hasn't played this game, so we don't really know how he would do. I'm guessing he could do around Comic is now. So it might end up being a weaker game for
I do think their
Pigeons.
stats are pretty inflated,
Yeah.
considering Comic only playing 2 games and Gaza not playing 2 of the games.
Let's head back over and talk about stack up. Now, you do want to be a good stack up team in DMCA because that is where you can get that is where you can get loads of points or not many points at all, especially individually. And we've been talking about not a lot of points. The Blueberry Beavers, 174, 150 points below the event average.
Not a single member of Blue Team have an average in stack up of more than 71 points.
Yeah, this is a rough game for Blue. And we have Pigeons and Whales around a little bit above the average, and Lynxes being the dominant team here. Now, again, this is a pretty sketchy game in terms of averages because Stack Up is a very volatile game. It's got similar aspects to SG. And for example, with the dominant Lynx average, Ice Boy has played it once. Trickinator, who we're using for Inferno Fox, has only played it once. And Tailsboy, I believe, has only played it once as well.
I'm gonna make a Mackles prediction here. I think Green Team is going to crush this game. I think Brinks is gonna go out on that field and start farming everyone.
We have a Brinks believer here. I mean,
Brinks is my #1 fantasy league pick, so
Brinks
he better lock the fuck in.
Brinks has inherited a good average from Personified here for 190. Some Bird Gal, this is one of her better games, and Hub is lower down, but again, that could just be due to the volatility. And then this is just, I mean, every game's going to be a solid game for Red with Comic Soon's game average. Gaza does decently well in DMCA 1, and 8 this is actually a very bad game for Amy, so they do need to be careful. Alright, on to Kit Spleef. We have
Yes.
we have, as usual, Pigeons much above the event
I
average, and everyone else
I
just a little bit below, except for Wales, who are a decent bit below.
I think that stat is actually gonna stay pretty true. Pigeons feel like a good kit sweep team. I feel like they're gonna do very well in this game.
Let's have a look at the old list. We actually have a deficiency of good stack kit spleef players. Only 2 players in the top 15 for averages.
Low comp kit sweep.
Yeah, Gaza by far the best average in 7th with 156. Comic Soon again has inherited a good average due to his 204 game average. And then we have Inferno Fox inheriting a good average, and then we just have there's not much to say, there's just a lot of weak Kit Spleef players in this event.
That is not good for green team.
Again, though, we are approximating Brinks' score with personified. So Brinks might be the split goat. Who knows? And finally, we have Marksman Rush, which seems to be a pretty balanced game aside from the Beavers. We have roughly 450 for Pigeons, Lynxes, and Whales, and then significantly below for Beavers. Now, this is one of the games that Comics. This is one of the two games that Comic Student actually did play, and he did very, very well. Second in quote unquote averages.
I think Blue is better at this than the stats say.
Yeah, Blue's stats are quite surprising. Mister has been on weak PvP teams, as mentioned before, so this is not indicative of his actual skill. Shadow did have a very good performance in DMCA -5, so he might end up doing. He has the talent. He just hasn't been able to unlock that in a canon event yet. And I'm assuming an orange is probably. I feel like this is a fair and orange average.
Yeah, I think I think Shadow Ass knows what to do. I think he knows how to play the game, and I think him with if Shadow Ass gives his team the vision, I think they can do very well.
I'd also like to talk about yellow and green having some pretty solid two solid players, Brinks and Hubon and Inferno Fox and Ice Boy. They having two good players in Marksman Rush is a very, very good thing. And then I'll just gloss over game averages a little bit. We have Comic Soon, again, a very strong average. Not fully indicative of his skill. It will probably end up being a little bit lower, but still you gotta be good to play two good games. Then we have Ice Boy a little bit behind, but still firmly in our S tier range in the top 10. And then we have Brinks. Again, Brinks, I think Brinks could end up having a better game average than this, but it's just a little bit hard to find a player with his skill set, especially when we're predicting him on debut. Mr. and Shadow, I think if there's people who will do better than the averages show, it is probably going to be Brinks, Mr. and Shadow.
Definitely.
And Ice Boy as well, actually. Ice Boy only played one event, did pretty well, third on a first place team back in DMCA 4, which was the most difficult DMCA it was the highest comp DMCA. So getting third in that is very impressive. So that was just a little bit of a dive into the stats for Derek's Minecraft Assault 8. The event is this weekend, if you're not watching it too late. It is the 2nd of August at 7 p.m. BST / 2 p.m. EST. So we hope you tune in for that.
Please tune into that, please.
You heard it from Media Man Mackles himself. Make sure to subscribe to become a Derek's disciple, and we'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Do you want to say bye or not?
Man, fuck them. They don't get a buy.
Alright, that's a bit rude. Alright.